Some of y'all may know this about me, but if you don't, I used to be a flight attendant. And one of the things that they were really good about was preparing us in case of any emergency. In fact, they always called us safety professionals. We were never stewardesses in the sky or whatever they used to call, flight attendants back then, but we were always trained on how to be safe in case there was an airplane crash or if you had an evacuation off of the plane. And that has stuck with me all of these years. I haven't been a flight attendant for a while, but the emergency preparedness, the skills that they taught us while we were in training has always stuck with me. I always have been very adamant about making sure that I myself are prepared for an emergency because now we have a storm and I think it's the American Red Cross. They recommend that you prepare for at least 3 days without power. Actually, that's very, 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 very minimum. So, what does that mean though? How do you prepare when you don't have power? So, the best thing to do is to ask yourself a couple of questions. The first thing you should ask is, can you get out and go someplace safe so that you're not in the middle of the storm? If you can, do that. Okay? Go ahead and get out and, do what you have to do in order to go through a couple of days and then go back to wherever it was after the storm passes. So what this means is that you got to take a couple of things with you. Do you have cash? Credit cards are not going to work if there's no electricity. So make sure you've got enough cash stashed somewhere, extra clothes. Make sure you have some alternative power source in some kind of night bag or something, a flashlight. And one of the ones that you can actually wind up, that's really good. Have extra pair of clothes. Do you have, what you need as far as medications? If you're taking medications, take all of that with you while you're going away from the storm. If you have to stay and the power is out, what can you do? So before it happens, when they are already telling you that a storm comes, you need to ask yourself these questions. Can you eat? Do you have enough food? And can you prepare it safely? Not just, burning a fire in your house. That's counterproductive. Can you do it someplace where you're not going to burn anything down if you, cook? Do you have water? And if you don't have water, can you filter water if you can get it from somewhere? So, for example, if you have a snowstorm and there's plenty of snow out there, can you get that snow into water? There are ways to do it. And if you don't know, you want to research that. Can you clean yourself, your place, and anything else that you need? Can you clean your clothes? Okay. Can you can you take a bath? Can you take a shower? Do you have this already set up? The other thing that you need to make sure is can you heat or cool yourself or the place that you are in? Okay. In the wintertime, of course, we want to make sure if we can heat something, we can do it without burning things down. That's the whole point. You want to survive the emergency, okay? The other thing you want to ask yourself is if there is a medical emergency, if somebody breaks their arm, somebody punctures their eye, there's a nosebleed, somebody has a heart attack, do you know what you can do in order to get that person to safety and to help them until help arrives? Because there may not be help for a while. There may not be a way for you to get the message out that somebody needs help. So you're going to have to be able to do something about it at the time. Do you have simple things where if somebody breaks a bone, you can wrap it up until they can get to the hospital or until the ambulance can get to them? These are the things you got to think about. Can you, once you have established your own safety, can you communicate with people, with other people that you care about? That's something that you have to be sure you can do. Do you have some way to charge your cell phone that does not include electricity? There are ways to do that. If you don't have that, look that up. Do you have communication with your neighbors? Are your neighbors okay? If if there's an issue and somebody has a medical issue and they need help, are they elderly? can you go and help them if they don't have any resources, if they're too old to be able to take care of themselves in this kind of situation, in this kind of a disaster? And the last thing you need to ask yourself, this is very important: can you entertain yourself? There's nothing worse than worrying about when you're going to get help, or when the power is going to go come back on, or anything. And you need to be able to learn how to do certain things without electricity, gas, or batteries. So depending on an iPad during this time can kind of be it can be hard, because you have limited amount of battery power. If you don't have a solar charger, how are you going to charge that? If you do have a solar charger, it could take a day for you to be able to charge that up again. So you need to be able to have those things that don't require any extra electricity. Books, and for kids, you want to be able to have games, coloring books, crayons, some kind of activity that keeps them engaged, because all they're going to do is, if you're a parent, they're going to look to you to provide the entertainment while you are trying to provide safety for everybody else. So these are the things that you want to ask yourself when you are preparing for some kind of emergency. Make sure that you can do this for a couple days. Make sure that the people that you love, the people that you are around, can do this as well. This is basic stuff. Basic. This isn't even getting into that Teotihuacan or the SHTF. We're not even talking about that. That's a little bit more, in my mind, that's a little bit more crazy. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen, but we're talking about things that we are probably going to encounter, which is a storm, a tornado, a hurricane, blackouts. When the power goes out. Oh, the other thing, and the last thing that you want to be able to do is make sure that you can protect yourself. So ask yourself these questions. If you have some of it, that's good. If you don't have the basics of all of them, make sure you have the basics of at least all of those, so that you can be prepared and safe during these times. Joy, what I'm going to do is, a long time ago, a couple of years ago, I had created a Pinterest page on, I can't remember, some kind of technology, I think human technology, where I collected a whole bunch of ideas of how to survive without electricity, batteries, or gas. So I will put that in the description, and you can go click on it, and you can see all kinds of cool ideas of how people have created ways to do things that they need in order to survive. Talk to you soon. Stay safe, and we'll see you at the next video.